with Howard. Then it's Odom. Then there's Kobe. And for Chicago, Carlos Boozer and Joakim Noah. They're inside. Rose and Dang on the floor. And it's Bogans in at the shooting guard.
How about the Bulls' improvement a year ago, guys? They won 62 games, up from 41 in the previous year. Once again, Chicago has become a dominant team.
Now here's Noah. Here's Rose. Outside Dang. Rose kicks to Boozer. Rebound the Lakers. And dominant is the right word, as you mentioned, with the Bulls. They just ran away with the regular season.
Kevin, it's been a while since the Bulls had the best record in the NBA, but the way they came together, it wasn't really shocking. They were good defensively, and they had chemistry and cohesiveness offensively.
And now Doris Burke has an update from the sidelines.
I caught up with Coach Tom Thibodeau. This is the first time they'll be taking on the Lakers this season, and he insisted they were up to the challenge. He said, first and foremost, when you're facing the Lakers, you have to deal with Kobe and Gasol. But he feels that they match up very well in those two spots, which gives them an edge that very few teams have against L.A.
All right, Doris.
You know, for so long, the best point guard talk had been between Paul, Nash, and Deron Williams. But Rose might have thrust himself in the front of the conversation last year.
Well, they get those 3 points back in a hurry, don't they?
Yeah, they sure did. Didn't take them long at all to respond.
Kicks to Noah. Lots of room. They get it again. He goes up again. No good. And it's the Lakers taking it the other way. The machine. He's covered by Rose. That's good. He's got 5. Going back to Rose, Steve, he certainly made a strong case with his play.
Well, he was phenomenal in terms of his point guard play, his evolution offensively, and the numbers don't tell the entire story for him. I mean, he's such a pure scorer, but gutsy as well, and a leader for his team, and modest and humble, and somebody whose teammates absolutely love.
From deep, and again it's the Lakers from deep.
Wow, what a combination. A big man who can shoot from long range.
Outside Dang. Guarded now by Lamar Odom. Gasol with the steal.
Well, that was not an easy play, but he made it look routine.
Rose with the block. Bulls trail by 6. Left side Rose. Picked up by Kobe. Back to Dang. Fires for 3. Dwight Howard grabs the board. So it's the Lakers now. 6-point game. And going against Chicago, their first meeting of the season.
Well, they were 2 of the best teams in the entire league last season. And it was a really interesting matchup when they played against each other. Each team winning 1 game. Yeah, beautiful drive there, going right around the bigger man.
Lakers leading by 4. Out of bounds. They'll keep possession. As Steve said, there were 2 huge games these 2 teams played last year, but Clark, neither got the upper hand.
Still, it was a fun couple of games to watch, Kevin. I mean, anytime these 2 teams are on the floor together, you know it's going to be good.
Catching up on the changes for Chicago. Taj Gibson's checked in for Boozer. And it's Watson in for Derrick Rose.
Now, part of the reason they are where they are is that they have taken care of the ball for the most part.
Tell you what, he can be really frustrating as a shooter. All you can do is grimace because he just can't find the range.
Stolen away as they knock away the alley-oop attempt. Bogans passes to Noah. That's good. Noah's got his first basket of the night.
Yeah, he did awfully well to thread that pass there into the paint. And one of the things you like about the Lakers, their ability to go out on the road and win. In fact, last season, they were 27-14 away from Staples Center.
Now, here is our test. That's good.
Well, they should go back to that because you look at this matchup, and he's just too strong for him down there.
And the Lakers, Clark, a smart veteran team, we know that. How much of an asset is that to winning on the road?
You can't overstate it. I mean, it's really huge, Kevin.
keeping your composure, staying focused, understanding what's coming and what you need to do to seize games on the road. Some folks call it that killer instinct. And those are the things you have to be able to do, and the Lakers, quite honestly, a terrific example of all of that.
And that's not really his range. Has a tough time in that mid-range area.
The machine, he's covered by Watson. Tipped.
And, you know, despite the number of turnovers, Kevin, they've still got the lead here.
Well, eventually, guys, you know those mistakes will come back and haunt you, so they've got to do a better job of taking care of the basketball.
Noah gets whistled for blocking. That's his first foul.
A little too much body on that one, and that's going to be a block.
Always a hard thing to judge, but I agree with you, Steve. Clearly a block.
Here's Kobe. He's coming off a 16-point game against Sacramento. From downtown, and that one's good. Kobe's got 6.
Well, he knows his role. He embraces it. He's really a guy that you can go to offensively.
The basket's coming early and often in the first quarter.
Next Tuesday.
All right, the second quarter beginning in just a moment. Lakers leading by 7.
After coming over from the Celtics, Tom Thibodeau has really brought his brand of defense over to the Bulls. I mean, you've seen it. Hard to argue with the result. He was just what the Bulls were looking for in a new head coach.
So the Lakers 5 right now. Kobe and Artest are the wingmen. Odom at the 4 and Powell at the 5. Rose dishes to Gibson. Outside Rose. Passes to Thomas. From about 16. Shot, no good. And the Lakers go with it the other way. Oh, and you see the turnaround, Clark, that Thibodeau brought to Chicago. You know, Steve, you...
Watch out below. Run for cover, young fella. A superb alley-oop there. Prime time play.
Well, they had that one standing by, just waiting to pull it out.
Now, there's definitely a sense of understanding between those two teammates, that's for sure.
Now, here's Boozer. His last outing, he had 24 points. Shot clock at 5. Here's Thomas. It's good. This time the assist from Rose. Lakers leading by 7. The machine, he's covered by Rose. From past the arc. Chicago grabs the miss.
Well, one of the things that has made the Lakers so good is their depth and their balance. In fact, last year, defensively, they had the 5th lowest field goal percentage defense in the league, under 44% for their opponents.
The machine, covered by Brewer. Offside Gasol. Baseline J on the way, and the jumper falls for him. Gasol's got 4 this quarter. And for the Lakers, Clark, that big front court, a big part why they're so tough defensively. Steve just said a percentage defensively under 44%.
Well, length is hard to score over. I mean, they've got some tough defenders up and down the roster, really, and they play a physical style. I mean, you think about a guy like Matt Barnes, Ron Artest. Kobe is a killer defensively when he's locked in. And then they're all experienced, too. I mean, that adds to that defensive prowess as well.
Here's what Chicago's going with right now. Joakim Noah, he's checked in for Thomas. Dang comes in for Taj Gibson. And it's Bogans in for Ronnie Brewer. Howard against Noah. Howard, good. And it's an 11-point Laker lead.
I thought Dwight Howard made pretty good improvement last season, especially down on the block with his postgame. Upped his scoring by about 5 points per game. His shooting percentage stayed right around 60%, so a really good year for Dwight.
Gasol and Shannon Brown with the slam.
That's why you push the ball. You score before the defense has a chance to set up.
Exactly. They had the defense on its heels that time.
Here's Rose. 23 points for him the last game against Sacramento. Dang. He dishes it to Boozer. Knocks it loose. It's stolen by Odom. Lakers leading by 13. It's stolen by Rose. Right side Rose. He feeds it to Dang. And it's Howard picking him up for three. And Bogans gets it to go. Bogans got his second bucket of the night. And here are the Lakers. They've only allowed 5 points in the quarter.
I really don't like what I'm seeing their last couple of possessions, Kevin. That's 2 turnovers in a row. Careless turnovers at that.
Yeah, they're getting a little casual with the ball. They've got to nip that in the bud right now.
Now here's Rose. Shot clock at 6. Dang can't get it to go.
Looked like he squirted that one off a little too quickly there. The defense really was never in the play.
There's the triple. And the Lakers with another miss.
He certainly didn't take advantage of the poor defense, but they can't count on him to continue missing.
No, that's for sure, because this guy's too good of a shooter to miss that look consistently.
Right up, and Gasol sends it back. And the Lakers have possession. 13 points was their biggest lead in the game. Backing down is Howard. Boozer picks him up. Howard's shot is good. Howard's got 4 this quarter.
Kevin, great finish on the low block. I love it.
There's 53 seconds left in the first half of basketball. Now Bogans. He's got 6. Boozer passes to Rose. And again, Chicago. No good.
And that's the way it's been. A big margin for them in the rebounding category.
You know, sometimes you got to get down and dirty and do the dirty work. And in this one, they've done it, and it's paid off on the scoreboard in a big way.
Picked up by Brown. It's blocked. Lakers leading by 12. Here's Howard. Rises up and throws it down.
He decided to hang around for a while. A little extra hang time on that dunk and made sure the photo op didn't go to waste.
I'll tell you what, that's usually a technical foul, Clark. I think he got away with that one there.
Now here's Rose. Fisher is tagged with the reach. That's his first foul. Here is Bogans. Dishes to Watson. From the arc. And no good trying to get that one. And that concludes the first half.
Well, just take a look at what Kobe's done.
Hello and good Thursday night to you. We've got over at U.S. Airways Center, it was the Suns over the Cavaliers.
Well, we're getting back to the action now. It's been a one-team show so far. We'll see if that changes here in the third. So it's the Lakers now. It's a 14-point game.
You know, seeing the Bulls here, they were just absolutely terrific against the Western Conference last year, and I don't think that should be a surprise at all.
Luol Deng and Carlos Boozer, they're in the forward slots. Rose is flanked by Bogans in the backcourt, and it's Noah in at the 5, roaming the paint. That's the 5 out there for the Bulls. Here's Rose. After Pau Gasol's bucket, the kick out to Deng. Three-pointer. Yes, and it's Rose with the assist that time. Rose has got 3 assists now in this one. Like you mentioned, the Bulls in the West, Steve, they were 23-7 against the conference. Very good numbers.
That was the best mark of any team in the East. 3 more wins than the Heat, who came in second with 20.
The machine, and there's another one for the Lakers.
He's gotten himself involved in just about every aspect of this game.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic all-around performance, guys.
Rose kicks to Boozer. Left side Rose. Dwight Howard grabs the board. Howard's got 4 rebounds in this game.
Another board for them, and they've got a huge advantage in that regard.
Yeah, it's not really a surprise. I mean, rebounding one of the true barometers in winning basketball games, and if you rebound better, you typically are going to win ball games and do it comfortably.
What a year Lamar Odom had last season for the Lakers. At times starting, but also coming off the bench when Andrew Bynum was healthy. But he had a terrific year shooting the ball, about 53% from the floor and almost 40% from the three-point line.
Chicago calls timeout.
They seem to have lost their mojo offensively. Probably a good timeout here to try to get a play in and jumpstart their offense.
And let's go to the 2K leaderboard to see the teams that blocked the most shots in the NBA last year. Number 5, the Bulls.
Yeah, so much of their defense revolved around their ability to block shots in the low post. That's why their numbers were so good last season.
Here's Rose. Out of bounds. And they'll keep possession. Just talking about Odom. 40% from deep is out of this world for a guy his size.
I love Lamar's versatility, Kevin. I mean, and adding that three-point shot, being more efficient from out there, just helps him be more effective as an all-around player. Just 1 make and 4 tries here to start the second half. You know, I get the feeling he's pressing here a bit. There's a fine line between being intense and focused and being aggressive and pressing. And right now, he's pressing and hasn't found his rhythm in this game.
How about the concentration to finish that play despite being fouled?
You know what, Steve? A lot of guys get hit and then stop, but he played through contact, and I like that.
Here's what Chicago's going with right now. Thomas comes in for Joakim Noah, and Ronnie Brewer's subbed in for Keith Bogans. The Machine, he's covered by Rose. Pulls from the top of the key, and again it's the Lakers.
He's been so solid. You've got to keep him out there on the floor, really doing a nice job for the offense.
And it's Howard picking him up. Now here's Rose. He's guarded closely. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Here's Brewer, and the layup falls. Brewer's got his first 2 points.
You know, if their plan was to keep going inside a ton, it sure has paid off. I mean, it seems like every bucket they get is in the lane.
Well, no reason to take an outside shot if you're scoring at will from inside the paint. Now, the Bulls had to battle some injuries last year, but it didn't slow them down one bit in their rampage through the East. Carlos Boozer missed time early. Joakim Noah missed a large chunk of the season as well, but...
Oh! Up high! Down hard!
A monster throwdown. Wow. Boom! I tell you what, I bet that's the best assist we're going to see tonight.
Well, he laid it up there, Steve, a pass where only his teammate could get it.
Perfect timing. I mean, but that's what you need to make that kind of a connection.
Rose dishes to Boozer. He buries it. Boozer's got his second bucket of the game to go.
3 straight buckets in the paint. They're making it look effortless.
Well, speaking of effortless, you'd like to see a little more out of the defense. Huh? How about trying, guys?
So for the Bulls, Joakim Noah, he's checked in for Thomas. Gibson comes in for Carlos Boozer. And it's Bogans in for Luol Deng. The Lakers also changing it up. Pau Gasol's checked in for Howard. Odom comes in for Carragher. And Matt Barnes is subbed in for Ron Artest.
No prettier shot than the finger roll, smooth and beautiful. It's a joy to see. Rose is such an unbelievably strong finisher at the rim. His explosiveness and his leaping ability and his strength in the air makes it almost unfair when you're trying to deal with that guy, especially if he's got a head of steam coming at you. My goodness, he's going off in this quarter. He's got the guys on the bench going crazy, rally towels and all.
The Machine gets the reach-in call. That's his 3rd foul of the game. Clark, you nailed it about Rose. He contorts so much while airborne, but Steve always stays in control.
Well, coaches talk about the launching pad. When you let Derrick Rose get to that launching pad, he gets a head of steam and goes off at 2 feet in the lane. Forget about it. He's so strong and so athletic and just a powerful finisher for a point guard. And this is why they have the big lead. The rebounding has been dominant.
You know, guys, the +8 rebounding, I don't think it tells the whole story. I mean, they've been the more physical team from the outset. That's been the difference, their physicality. Points in the paint have been the main course, or main entree, if you will. They just keep pounding it inside.
Well, they're seeing no resistance defensively in the paint area, so the defense has got to be tougher.
Luol Deng is checked in for Chicago. Watson comes in for Derrick Rose. About 3 seconds between shot and game clock. Gibson with the screen on Brown. Watson kicks to Gibson. There's the block. Here is Howard. 19-point game. Goes right up. And foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. They get C.J. Watson. These players have been vacuums on the boards recently, leading the league in rebounding the past month. And you look at Noah, a terrific rebounder, 5th overall.
Well, he's got great energy, Kevin, when he goes after the ball, and that's got to be contagious to the rest of the team, I would think. I mean, that kind of production on the glass is great at both ends of the court.
And both free throws good for Johnson. Here is Watson. Got it off in time. And as we can... Through the third quarter, pretty much a blowout. It's been a one...
The NBA season.
It's time for the fourth quarter and time to check in with the fourth member of our team, Doris Burke, for our Sprite Spark Report. Hi, Doris.
Hi, guys. Well, it was the stretch by the Lakers that garners the Sprite Spark today. From the get-go, they put their stamp on this one with their defensive intensity, and that's a big reason why they're up in this one. Coach has got to be pleased with their effort in that department.
Terrific stuff, Doris. Thank you. That was quite a run they had, Clark.
Yeah, I tell you what, Kevin, scoring bursts like that often...
And the big-time jam. Let's see it again with the Sprite Slam Cam.
Oh, I got to give him a 10 on that one, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic.
Agreed, definitely. That's worth a perfect score if I've ever seen one.
And, Kevin, I'd say we're all qualified to judge dunk contests.
And here's Watson. And Noah backs down. Way off on that one.
Well, they say control the glass, control the game. They're definitely controlling the glass.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's been the case here tonight. Big lead they're enjoying on the glass.
You know, for so long we've seen the Lakers coast into the playoffs, put themselves in a tight spot and then find a way out of it. But in that series versus Dallas in last season's playoffs, they really looked like a tired and overmatched team.
That one falls, so he hits both of them. And for the Lakers, Kobe said, Clark, after that series, we've been playing with fire the last 3 years. Now we finally got what we deserve. Steve, that is a very interesting quote. Take it apart for us and delve into it.
Well, I think the Lakers had been to the finals for 3 straight years, and I think they were worn out emotionally. And for a couple of those playoff series over the years, they did play with fire and get away with it. Not last year. Dallas just destroyed them, and I think the Lakers just look tired, both physically and mentally. Just pouring it on and adding to this big lead.
Steve, they're playing outstanding basketball, and they've been doing it all game at both ends.
Here is Watson. Time called here. The Bulls decide to talk it over.
And Coach doesn't look pleased at all. He's going to try to iron things out.
Well, Chicago really established its home record last year at the United Center. In fact, they finished with the best record at home in the Eastern Conference. That was one of the big reasons why they were the #1 overall seed in the playoffs.
Catching up on the changes for Chicago. Carlos Boozer's checked in for Gibson. Bang comes in for Rasul Butler. And Derrick Rose is subbed in for C.J. Watson. Outside Rose. And Boozer backs in. Shoots a fader. The Lakers with the rebound. You mentioned the Bulls, Steve, tied the other #1 seed, the Spurs, for the best home record in the entire league. Boy, those were 2 great teams in the regular year, Clark.
They certainly were. 36 wins in 41 tries. Just what you'd expect from a team that was so dominant at home like the Bulls were.
Covered by Artest. Boozer kicks to Bogans. Looking to end the run. They get the rebound. Boozer, no luck.
He may want to start spreading the ball around a little bit. His shot is off right now.
The machine, he's covered by Boozer. Clark, we're seeing more and more undersized power forwards who are proving that they can contribute in the NBA.
Yeah, you know, the list is fairly long. DeJuan Blair, Chuck Hayes, Paul Millsap, Glenn Davis, Craig Smith, Brandon Bass. It all points to tenacity is sometimes as important as size.
Some bangers in that group, huh?
Yeah, wide bodies.
Rose, good. The Lakers on offense. It's a 12-2 run here, good pace. No good, so the Bulls will take it the other way. And why do you think it's that power forward 6'8" and under are starting, Clark, to make their mark now?
Well, I think with the floor spaced out, the way teams like to play transition basketball and shoot the three, pick and roll action, and a lot of times those wide bodies have wingspans that allow them to play taller.
Good points. So it's the Lakers now. The machine, and the shot counts. He's fouled, and it's a chance for a three-point play.
He's taller than most point guards, and he really put his length to use right there.
Some changes for the Lakers. Dwight Howard, he's checked in for Gasol. Odom comes in for Matt Barnes. And it's Brown in for Kobe. And the Lakers with some changes. Pau Gasol's checked in for Howard. And it's Devin Ebanks in for Lamar Odom. He can't complete the three-point play.
That was interesting. Once again, late last season for the Lakers, they slumped to close out the regular season. And it seems to be a pattern. You know, it's almost like they get bored before they actually get into the postseason.
Offside Gasol. 5 to shoot. A three ball. Rebound by Rose. And, you know, Steve, for the Lakers, Lamar Odom said himself their sluggish finishes in the second half were partly born of overconfidence, of ego. I don't know much credence you put in that, Clark. I mean, what do you think?
You know what? I think there is a tendency, a human tendency, to become complacent, become full, and you can lose some of your edge. I don't think it's a lack of humility and respect. I think it's just the nature of being somewhat satisfied. And when you're in this league, because people are coming after you a lot harder when you've got what they want in terms of championships, and especially as you age, I think it gets harder sometimes to fight off that resistance and to flip the switch if you find yourself in a little bit of a rut. Well, I thought last season was a tough one for Ron Artest. I mean, he struggled with his shot, and even his defense was a little subpar and not as consistent as we've seen in the past.
The Lakers making a switch here. Howard's checked in. We've got 1:23 left in the fourth quarter. Hogans can't get it to go. And Clark, for our test last season as he struggled, some of the coaches' critiques played out in the media. Steve, I don't think Ron appreciated that very much.
No, there was even a rumor that he might have wanted to trade prior to the All-Star break, but fortunately for LA and for Artest, he started to play much better after the All-Star break. He got more consistent and finished strong. And, he's still a guy who can help the Lakers just with his physical play and his toughness.
And now looks like we've got an injury here, guys. We'll likely see him come out of the game.
Boy, you hate to see this, Clark.
You sure do. I mean, tough to tell how bad it is just yet. Hopefully not too serious.
Well, I bet you he'd like to forget that first half that he had. It's nice to see him bounce back here in the second.
Here's Brown. Good.
Another bucket, and they are just pulling away here now.
Yep, no doubt about it. They're sprinting to the finish line.
Brown gets called for the reach. That'll be his second foul of the game. Lonnie Brewer's checked in for Chicago. And the Lakers also making a switch. Dwight Howard. He's checked in for Pau Gasol. On the wing, Dang. The tray. And the Bulls with another miss. Here's the three. Again, the miss by Dang. The Lakers controlling the game. So far in the fourth quarter, they've allowed just 6 points. Oh, and a nice defensive play to interrupt the alley-oop.
Yeah, looks like this one's out of reach.
Yep, just a matter of the clock running out now.
Defense wasn't able to get back fast enough to contest.
Well, they were caught flat-footed after committing the turnover that time, guys.
Rose against Brown. Howard covered by Noah. Outside Howard. Misses the shot. And so it's the Lakers taking care of business here.